What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm J, and we are locked in. A happy Memorial Day weekend. I know some of y'all got that 4-day. You got the Friday off. You got Monday off. Me, I got every day off. But it's ready to love, and that's how we spend our Fridays, the grown and sexy. Now we're getting down towards the end. It's episode 8. So we only got 2 episodes left after this. So we need to figure out who's really ready to love. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel and be a part of this, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. I told y'all I was gonna get a haircut. Holiday weekend, you always got to get a fresh haircut, get the beard lined up. But this is Ready to Love, and we know last week it was a whole bunch of people kind of jumping bandwagons. They all jumped onto Kyra's boat. So we like, okay, Kyra's been putting in that work. But let's see how episode 8 treats us tonight. This is Ready to Love, episode 8, the recap. This week's episode, we don't have the typical ladies lounge. This week, we're going to be over Nephew Tommy's house, him and his lovely wife. They came down here in the black and white, clean. They've been married for over 20 years, so you already know. You got to make sure you got your wife involved in the business. You got a good thing going? Why not bring in the lovely life and let her, reap some of the benefits? You put in all this work, y'all a team. This is how it's supposed to be. A team, people. A team. And this week, we get to introduce the men to somebody in the women's life. But this time it isn't a friend and isn't a family member. It's actually an ex. And all of the women are like, oh my, because we know the ex is going to give us the truth. Well, most of the brothers, they usually give the truth like, hey, bro, yeah, it's a lot to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Be careful with this one. And all the girls they looking at, especially Miss Fly Jones, she talking about, oh Lord, I wonder who her ex is. And what Tommy is trying to get here, he's trying to see how these men react when they're around another man, especially competition. Because normally you think of an ex, they somewhat, whether it's 50% or less or even more, they may want to get back with that woman. So Tommy's saying, see how these men interact with the other ones. Me personally, when it comes to meeting somebody's ex, I don't do it. But if I ever run into him, I don't have no issue with the dude. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. The first people we're going to see is Miss V, Vernicia, and her ex-boyfriend, David. Now, this guy looks like Michael J. White or whatever, Michael J. White, whatever his name is. But he's sitting here, he's like, all right, cool. But they're going to want the perspective from the ex of what do they think of the new man. And as a man, I'd be like, hey, that ain't my place. If he trying to get at you, we ain't together no more. That's really on brother. I'm not going to tell you what I think of the man. Like, shoot, that's for you to figure out. The next one we have is Alexis and her ex Joseph. Now he just seemed like a cool dude. He chilling like, I guess, you know what I'm saying? She talking about all this astrology. We supposed to be good matches and stuff. He's like, yeah, well, we ain't make it. So all those signs and stuff, they don't mean nothing. It's just an excuse, people. Miss V, she's bringing in Joel. We know they have a connection. Joel's friend, she kind of looked at V and was like, nah, I really don't know about that. And we know he feels that she's too clingy. And he didn't know that this was her ex. He thought it was going to be a brother or a cousin or something. So he sits down. She like her ex. He's looking like, man, this is kind of weird. This is like sitting down with somebody's dad and trying to get permission. And I don't know about this one. This one ain't good. I know some people, oh, that's grown. You sit down. No, it's not like an ex-husband or something. It's just an ex. Some random dude that you mess with for a couple months. I ain't with it. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, Alexa's situation, listen to this. This is her ex, but it's her ex before her ex-husband. So that means this dude, she stayed in touch with her ex this long. I don't know. For me, that's just strange. So you were dating a guy, you break up with him, you get married to a guy, you stay in touch with the guy that you broke up with, you get divorced, and you're still in touch with this guy. Leave this one alone, fellas. Leave this one alone. Let her and her son go on about their life, but leave this one alone. Now, the ex, he asked, so if you guys were to get in an argument, how would you handle it? And he's like, well, if we get in an argument, I'm going to argue logically. And I argue like a guy. And he's saying when you argue with her, you still got to make sure she's straight. I mean, if we get into an argument, yeah, I'm not going to do anything to disrespect you or anything. But it's an argument. If he has a valid point and she's not understanding, you got to break it down so she can understand it. But you're not just going to jump on her side and agree with something if you know it's wrong. This ex asked Joe, okay, are you the jealous type? And Joe's like, nah, I mean, I ain't jealous. I don't think any man should be jealous. If you with a woman and you're with the woman and she's really with you, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. It's part of the game. You always know other men are going to look at your woman. That's just part of life, man. If she's attractive, they're going to look at her. If she's not, they're going to look at her. It doesn't matter. Someone's always going to look. You can't be jealous. But then Joel asked the question that he really wants to know. Is Phoenicia, is she clingy? He's like, nah. And Joel says, good. That's all I wanted to know. Because, that's been on his mind since she came over and met his friends last time. Ron asked the ex, hey, are you religious? Because it seems like you kind of religious. I could see that. And the guy's like, yeah. And you hear Alexis say, oh, he gives me credit. Not saying I'm the reason he went to church, but he gives me credit for, leading him towards the church. That's because you were driving this man insane. This man had to go to church and say, Lord, I know you got something better for me out there. This can't be it. Give me a sign. And the Lord said, break up with her. He said, amen. But then Ron gets into why he left the church. He felt like the pastors were taking money. They're greedy. They're crooked. So for him, he kind of removed this stuff from the church. V says communication is one of her biggest things. Now, her and Joel supposed to go eat. Joel got busy. He didn't text her or anything and tell her, hey, I'm going to be a little late. We either push it back and I'll bring you something or, get you something to eat because I have something going on. So she's saying that's key and that's vital for a relationship to grow with. And I agree with her. He could have said something. Then they asked the friend. The friend asked Joel, do you think you could have handled that situation? And me personally, as a man, I don't feel comfortable and I would never, ever go to another man about what he's doing in his relationship and ask him, hey, man, you think you're doing something? That's not my place. That's between you two adults. You two figure it out. But he asked the question and Joel says, yeah, I could have did something. And he's right. It's just I know it's for TV, but I just can't. I'm not with that. With Ron over here, he's kind of digging that hole. Because they're talking about religion. He's saying he's not into the church anymore. And he's not going to do a full 180 and just turn around and be going to church 3 or 4 times. He knows that Alexis is big into the church and she's spiritual. She's putting it in the air. For him, he's more of a, I don't pray on it. If I want something to happen, I'll go do it. Now, she's trying to say it's very important that the man she's with is spiritual. She's trying to mold a man to fit her. You see what I'm saying? To fit everything that she wants. And if that's what you want, I respect it. But at the same time, you got to respect what this man does. I mean, it goes both ways. You can't just get everything you want and not compromise what he wants also. So I don't think that this is going to work between these two. Okay, Phoenicia, she got the hookups. Call me. Hey, I might come down to the H. I actually got a cousin down there. I need to come visit. You know what I'm saying? So she's going to the little bar, and the girl, she's actually making cocktails, and it's specifically tailored for whatever your man is. And she's like, oh, okay. And she starts describing Joel, and I'm talking about they whipping up stuff. Okay, we got something on our hands here. Okay, Alexis, she drinking on that Ron. Okay. Kyra sipping on that Jason. Okay, the ladies is calling out who they want. And Liz with the pinky out, she's sipping on that David. So the ladies, they got their men. Miss V set up something, so we about to see how they all interact with the guy that they're trying to focus on and single out this week. The ladies in here, they got their drinks, they getting their feet done, so of course they got to talk about the men. V talking about, I learned some things about myself I ain't even know. Then they get on Kyra talking about, you ain't really ready to let go of AJ, are you? She like, wholeheartedly? Nah, I told you, AJ, she want to get back in there. Now, everybody that was saying, oh, Liz didn't want that kiss from Jason. Yes, she did. This lady, she's 40 years old. She knew what she wanted. She wanted to see what the young buck had. She just wanted to feel young. It may not went no further than kisses, but she wanted that kiss. So for all of you saying, oh, Mo, you was wrong about that. No, I wasn't. We starting to get some side eyes between Liz and Kyra. So Liz, she's like, let me get a taste of Jason. So Kyra says, everybody knows Jason, my number one. Let me get a taste of David. Now, I told y'all about Liz. She 40 years old. She that church going woman. But that drink in that system, how Liz got her groove back. Don't mean she ain't gonna dabble a little bit in the alcohol, just a little bit. Alexis talking about, I'm the only one that ain't been kissed here. V says, nah, me too. I was kissed on the forehead. Alexis said, I did that too, but that's not the kiss I'm looking for. Now, what I tell y'all about our ex, he went to the church one day and said, Lord, please give me a sign. And he said, leave. And now even Jason left. Alexis, men aren't really, younger men, okay, they may be into that, but us older men, we ain't really into that overly aggressive jumping and chasing after. Hey, chill, relax. When we come at you, we'll come at you, but at our speed. Liz's ex comes in. My man Clean came in all black, gray beard, lined up, clean, got the part looking like Blade. Came in, woo. Now him and Liz, they had a relationship. They were good, but they seen that it wasn't going to work between them. So they just ended up becoming close friends, and she considers him a big brother. Now, we know how that is. But she tells him she was with David, and she really likes him, but he changed up off camera because he asked her, what did she do during the day? And she said she went on a date with Jason. He asked, did she kiss him again? And the guy was like, oh, I don't like that. Well, me personally, that isn't for you to like. What are you're in the friend zone now. What are you trying to tell her everything she wants to hear? That relationship stuff is between her and him. If you guys, y'all had y'all thing in the past, it didn't work. Me personally, that's it. I mean, y'all can still have a friendship, but you shouldn't give advice on another man, especially one that you don't know. Now, I know you got the ties with her, but that's just me personally. I don't speak on other men. I just can't do it. David comes in with the same response as me. He's like, whoa, what? Yo, it's another man in here. It's not every day that you meet the girl that you're dating, the woman that you're dating's ex. So the first thing he asks is, well, before we even go anywhere, when's the last time you two been intimate with each other? Now, the guy says, we kissed, but I don't know how many years ago it was. So for me, I'm looking at that like, yeah. Give me the truth, brother. I know you not going, you know what I'm saying? You not going to hate, but Now, Liz makes a valid point. We did see him say, oh, if you kiss Jason, I'm all right with that. But now he's making it a big deal. First it was with Jason, and then he changed up and went to Kyra at the end of the episode. And now he's bringing it up with the ex. Now, with the ex, that right there, I go ahead. That's a legit question, because if you're still in touch with the ex and you guys were intimate, you say a couple of years ago, you don't know how long ago, then there's still some kind of connection. Because I know if I hit up one of my exes and we get together, you know, it can go wherever it goes. But that's just a man thinking like a man, because men, we have options and we keep those options. Now they got David in the corner, and David, they talking about what you think about communication. And he's like, man, well, you gotta tell me like stuff you don't want me to say in front of certain people. Now, oh man, it's hard for him to get out of this. But in his defense, the only thing I can say is, okay, I said that amongst my friends, no competition. You're telling this to a man that you were involved with intimately. That's different. That man across the table is competition. Those are my friends. Those aren't competition. They aren't competition too. That's the only thing I can say for David. But other than that, the communication, they got David in the corner and it ain't looking good for him. Because the ex is like, you couldn't tell off the body language. And he's like, well, you got to be faster than that, David. I agree with you, Liz. Liz says it doesn't seem like he was being honest. When he got called out on it, he was like just trying to fix the situation. I told you they had him in that corner. He wasn't no recovery to that. Nope. You never get boxed in like that. Nope. You got to dodge those questions. Forget that. See, just like I said with Chris last year with Naya. Well, not last year, last season. When it's two adults, you two need to talk to each other one-on-one and figure things out. Whenever you have a third party, whether it's David's side or Liz's side, I don't think you should talk about personal stuff or finances with a third party, unless it's like a therapist or something or an accountant. I don't think friends and exes should be involved in what you guys talk about personally or financially. That should be between you two. We have Amber and her ex. Now, Amber and her ex, she said they kind of rocky. And I think that's a bad ex to pick. You could have got one of your homeboys like, hey, just come and act like you was my ex or something. But an ex that you're rocky with, ooh, that might not work in your favor. He may be a hater. But she brings in Chris to meet him, and it's kind of an awkward introduction with each other. Like, hey, how's it going? Okay, Kyra's doing it a little differently. Jason comes over. We got the ex Timothy on the screen, and Timothy talking about, forget all that. Hey, everybody got a glass? Because we about to enjoy. He about to kick up. Okay, I got some questions for you, Jason. How you feel? How you feeling, brother? My boy Timothy on the TV, shout out to him. I wish they would have gave us his Instagram. I would have shouted him out. But he asked Jason, what are you looking for? Jason says, I'm looking to get married at this point in my life. He's 36 years old, settle down, find that woman. Now, the ex, he says one thing about Kyra, she ain't gonna let something go. If something happens, she's not gonna let it go. And for Jason, he's listening like, oh, you really gonna hold that over my head? Okay, he's seeing things. And that's one thing that an ex is gonna do. Most of them, if they're genuine, they may just, keep it cool. But the brothers that are looking out for another brother, hey, watch out, bro. Because she gonna hold that on your head, man. She gonna hold that on your head. The ex asked Chris, okay, Chris, how do you feel? Do you want a family? And Chris, he looking at that bird like, man, forget that family. But he's like, yeah, I'll take a family. Maybe 5, but starting off with 3 is good. Now they ask Amber, and Amber's like, yeah, I'm good with that. And then what she says, and I was like, oh my goodness, not Amber, not the attorney. She says, I'd rather be a mother than a wife. So just a baby mom is all right for you? Come on, you worked this hard, you went to school, and you thinking just being a mother, that's the top priority? Like, marry before you carry. Please, women, if you can, listen to me. Please marry before you carry if you can. Please. Come on, Amber. I was really disappointed when I heard that, just being honest. Things are starting to make sense. I'm starting to connect the dots and figure things out. Now, he asked, hey, how is Kyra with finances? Is she financially responsible? And he says, now she has money, but you're going to have to teach her some techniques, because there's one thing about having a budget and then there's another with just spending money. Now, we know the whole thing with AJ came up. She just been spending. So maybe she was financially hurting too. Now, AJ said his card or whatever it was messed up. We ain't taking away from that. But she may have spent her last few dollars. I don't know. But things are starting to look okay. You were mad at AJ for finances when your ex is telling us you're bad with finances. Oh my goodness, I knew it had to be something. It couldn't have just been AJ. It was on both parties. Y'all can go ahead and thank me later, because I be figuring these things out. I'll tell you about them finances. Now, she says when she was sitting there, she felt like she was in an uncomfortable spot because Jason was asking all the right answers to know who she is. And she says, I know I'm not good with finances. I'm getting better. You're too old to be getting better. You need to be there at this moment. Now, me, I penny pinch. When y'all see me on here, I'm a bum. You see me, I get a haircut once a month because I ain't going nowhere. I don't need no haircut. I penny pinch 85 cents out of every dollar I'm saving. And that's just facts. But whenever I go somewhere, I got it. You see me on Instagram, I get clean. But there ain't no point in me getting my hair cut, beard lined up, all of this when I'm just going to be sitting at the house. Finances, people. I knew it. It was both sides. It wasn't just AJ. So all that coming in at the beginning of the season talking about, oh man, I had a problem with AJ. You can't manage money either. Usually, when you point your finger at somebody, they say it's 2 pointing back. When you look at the mirror, that's where you need to start. The ex. What did he say? I could tell you and Jason vibe well, but he's going to have to help you with your finances. And I feel exactly where he's coming from. And this may be one of the reasons he left. And Kyra's talking about, yeah, I don't budget well. I don't do all this. Nope. Fellas, if you get your stuff together, I have an 806 credit. That's where mine is. I work too damn hard to make it to where I'm at. To bring somebody in that's bringing in debt that can't manage money. I ain't rich, but I got it. But I'm not giving it just to be giving it. No, sirree. No. So Jason, finances, you're going to have to look at, brother. AJ, don't feel bad. Now, y'all know at my channel, I don't discriminate. Whatever you do is what you do. Whatever makes you happy, makes you happy. Now, Amber says her and her ex, they had an obstacle that they had to go through. And this obstacle was that the man came out to be gay, bisexual, whatever it is, it's gay, whatever you want to be. And I'm totally fine with that. Do what you do. But I think this is one of the reasons why Amber says I choose being a mother over being a wife, just because of him coming out to her. So I can see where she comes from. Like, we've been together and then you come out. I mean, that's a tough thing. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know about that lifestyle. I mean, whatever you do makes you happy, do it. But I can see that being an obstacle in a relationship. Hit the nail on the head again. He said she's changed as a woman. Now, she mentioned she did feel like she had to be there for him when he came out. Now, I don't know if you had to. You could have probably just been like, hey, bro, you could have told me that up front. But it is what it is. And he's saying that she's a changed woman because she was there for him when all this happened. So, traumatized. I mean, it is what it is. AJ, we get to finally see him, and he's been putting in work behind the scenes. He said he's working on Kyra. That's who he wants to focus on. But then we have Alexis also, who is his wild card. You know, she's over the top. This is Fly Jones, people. Fly Jones. So she's going to do her thing, be kind of aggressive, but she's going to go after what she wants. We also have Jason and Liz on this date. And we've seen that Liz's ex kind of called out David. So we're going to see if Liz gets her groove back with young Jason. All right, Alexis, she's sitting down with AJ. She said when they get together, butterflies. But she just feels like he's too smooth and she feels like he's going to break her heart. Now, I know the other gentlemen, they probably feel the same way with you. You with such and such at one moment, then you with him, then you with him. You just taking and choosing. You jumping. Jason's right across from you and you was all over Jason. You were lusting over Jason when he was the basketball coach. So you in the same boat. What I say, go look in the mirror. That's usually where you need to start at. Am I good or what? Jason's talking about Liz is growing on me. And Liz, she says, I know he got his connection with Kyra, but she's an older woman. And what does she say? When I'm with Jason, he makes me feel like a kid. How Liz got her groove back, I called it, because I know what older women like. Whew. Damn, I'm good. At least Alexis she's honest with AJ. Now she's looking at him, she's talking to him. We know that she's feeling him, but she feels he would break her heart. But at the same time, she says he's also the type that she could fall in love with. And everybody's like, oh, fall in love with, huh? Okay, we hear you. And I know Jason's thinking, yeah, she was just on me. But I'm not saying nothing because I got Liz over here. AJ speaks on Alexis actually choosing Ron and saying whatever connection she has with Ron, since he chose her and that's where she feels like she's going with, then all right, cool. That's what you chose. All right, bet. No big deal. But the fact that you came on this date with me says a little something different. Just a little something different. And Alexis is saying she's still feeling AJ, but he needs to make a decision on what he wants because she doesn't want to be second. She's not going to be somebody's second. But she just told this man that Ron was who she's going with because he chose her. So AJ has to play number 2 until she figures, oh, if I'm his number 1, then it don't work like that. It don't work like that. You can't expect this man to play number 2, but you won't be number 2. You can't do that. You can't do that. Again, I need someone that's going to make a decision. Well, Ron made a decision and you went with that. So if I make a decision, we're just going to go, it is what it is. But he's like, hey, listen. Would you shut up for a minute? And gives her a kiss, got the hat on her head. I think he made his decision. Come on, ladies, come back to the house. It is time to meet up. And you know, Tommy wants to take all the credit. He talking about all this that's going on, giving you guys this advice. Yeah, I did that. But his lovely wife is there. And he says, to be honest with y'all, 80% of that came from her. You got to always give your woman credit, people. Bigger up. That's the best thing that you can do, man. That's how that relationship's going to last. Y'all got to big each other up. Even when you're down, you can look at the other person to pick you up. For Nisha, she's the first one. She talks about her day. She was with Joel, and I said it in episode 1 or 2. His accent is the one thing that's going to get these ladies. And she's like, he's in there smooth talking about baby. And her ex, she says, he approves of Joel. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing for my boy. Alexis goes over her date, and I agree with her. She spoke about religion and then her ex being into religion and how she brought him over to it. And Ryan saying, oh, well, I'm not really that big into religion. And, you know, that's a major part in her life. And like I say, go after what you want. But you can't mold somebody to be that. They have to be that. And if they're not that, then you just got to kind of cut it off and try to find something else that fits you. Alexis kind of starts tearing up because She feels like this is the man she chose, but she doesn't want to sacrifice her religion and her faith in God. And I understand that. And she said for the last 5 to 6 years, this is what's really been holding her on, her faith in the Lord. And if the man isn't into that, then that's going to be one thing that's going to deter her from actually pursuing it. And I respect that. And that's how it should be. If church is big to you, then find somebody that church is big to them also. Liz ain't playing. She goes straight in on David. He brought up the kiss in front of his friends, and all the girls is like, ooh, no. And even me, I'm like, dang. I mean, I understand where it's coming from. You could have probably talked to them in private, but ooh, it was a bad look for him. It was a bad look. But this gives my boy Jason a chance to move on in. All right, ladies, enough of the chit chat. Who we feeling and who we ain't. That's all we need to know, because it's that time of the night where we start weeding them down and getting rid of somebody. Kyra comes in here blushing. I will lead with Jason, and Liz is looking like, wait a minute, that's my young buck. Look at Liz. I would go with Jason. I told y'all at that nail bar, they were giving them side eyes to each other. Amber and Chris, we already do that, but I don't know if that's enough for Chris to stay. Well, it looks like David may be the odd man out though. And of course, Alexis and AJ, that A&A connection. Alexis comes out and she talks to Ron. Now, this is the chance for her to get everything off her chest, especially the whole religion. How she said, I came out and I told you that I'm big into religion. And then you just jump into saying, oh, I'm not. I don't do it anymore. So for her, that's one of the big things that knocks him down a little bit. But we've seen how close she got with AJ. So it may be a cliffhanger for Ron. Liz comes out and she has to explain to David what's going on. Now she's breaking it down for him. And David, I told y'all, when he gets boxed into a corner, it's over with for him. He doesn't know how to keep his composure. So she's talking. He's like, Liz, let me talk. He starts standing up and she's like, no, I'm doing the talking this time. You're not going to be able to talk your way out of this. You're going to hear what I got to say. So it's going to be a tough one between Ron and David. Let me know who y'all think's going down. Whew. Alexis is explaining to Ron what they see and what they feel. And she feels like, oh, you don't feel like anyone can offer you anything. And all he does is ask a question, offer me anything. Like, you can't offer me anything. If there's anything he wants, he can go get it, is what he's saying. But she's saying, it's kind of deeper than that. And you're kind of making it seem like it's all about you. But all this man is saying is, I can take care of myself. I've been doing that. So whatever you have to offer me, I've been doing pretty good by myself. But I see where she's coming from, but it's on both sides. Because I don't know, man. It's on both sides. I'm just going to leave it at that. So she's not wrong. He's not wrong. But they're not seeing eye to eye. Liz is still trying to explain to David, chill, bro. Let's sit down and let's talk about this. Let the lady talk first. Plus, we here for your elimination. I need to be able to talk. And David's like, no, let's just talk. And then he goes into full creep mode. I can't support her no more. He goes in for a kiss or something. And it kind of sounds like she says, David, get the on. Like, he going, I'm like, oh my goodness, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm no longer affiliated with this man, David. You wilding out, brother. On TV, too. They hit us with a to be continued. Oh my goodness, David is wilding out. We might get rid of two people. Hey, David, you need to come here. Ryan, you need to come here. You two pack it up together. It's over with. Hey, those cameras we got at the house, get rid of them. It's done. But let me know what y'all think. Who do you think is going on, David or Ryan? I'm going with David with the nonsense he pulling. But let me know. That's episode 8. Be here next week for Ready to Love episode 9. I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.